What's up, guys? Today I'm coming back with another amazing gun, and I'm super excited to show you what I've got. So let's not waste any time. What I have here is a Springfield Armory M1A, or the military designation M14, and I have always loved this gun. Okay, when it appears in history books that I'm reading, when it's in movies, it just blows my mind. I recently rewatched Black Hawk Down and I saw the M14, and man, it is just such an iconic gun. And I can understand why it was used for so long in the military, because it really is, it's incredible. All right, we have to just pay homage to how amazing the M14 was and still can be in many different ways. So let's just see what we've got. This particular gun is, I would say, a somewhat modernized take on the M14. So it's not traditional, but it is freaking awesome. And I got it from Cal Ranch, of all places. All right, Cal freaking Ranch, a freaking farm goods store. All right, but they had this sitting in there, and I went in, I held it, I had to have it. Okay, I couldn't deny it. I wanted this so bad, and so I got it. So as you can see, maybe not what you were expecting, something different, something amazing. Okay, so I'm just excited by this gun. Let's just talk about everything that they gave me. So with the gun, it came with this little 5-round magazine. They're also kind enough to include a 20 rounder, and I just have 2 snap cap rounds in there for show. And I also decided, you know what, why not? I'll just go ahead and buy 2 other 20 rounders. So a case, a 5-round magazine, a 20 round magazine, the instructions, and the gun. I'm just gonna get this all out of the way. Let's talk about this gun. And I'm gonna try and go pretty quickly. So from the muzzle, we have a traditional M14 style flash hider, very long, effective. It doesn't do anything with recoil control though. It's, you know, it's not a muzzle brake, it's just a flash hider. And then immediately right there, we have a match grade front sight. And I don't know how well you guys can see that, but the fins are relatively thin, and so this is going to give you good accuracy. Moving down, you have your traditional M1A gas block style, and if you guys don't know, M14s, M1As, they use a, I don't know how to describe it, I guess, kind of like a adjustable or an automatic or an adaptive bleed off system. And so if you're shooting some slightly different rounds through it, then this is going to adjust for that, but still should run the firearm properly. But we'll see. I'm going to test it out. Then we get to the stock. All right, and this is the thing that sold me on the gun. Yes, I'm a fan of the classic looking M1A, but I just wanted to do more with the gun. Okay, I didn't want to be stuck in the past. I wanted to honor the past and have something modern and something that would actually work for me. And this is going to be perfect. This stock is fully adjustable. As you can see, you can adjust your comb height, your length of pull, and then there's all sorts of great attachment points. Right here on the butt, you can see there's attachment points right there. There's also swivel studs on the front and the back of the gun. And then that beautiful pistol grip. And honestly, a lot of the times I'm not a huge fan of pistol grips on accurized rifles. But this one, it actually just fits really well. And it's super comfortable. Whichever way you want to use it, whether you're going to have your thumb across or if you're going to have your thumb same side or up on top, it just fits so dang well. I don't know how they did it, but it's a fantastic stock and it feels super great. Now, let's talk about the action of the gun. And that's what's going to be the traditional and more true to history part of this gun. So right here we have our standard action and just that iconic charging handle, this, you know, system which is a gas stroke system. Just iconic. You can see on the top down here, there's this little block above this area, and it has a groove right there. That's for using stripper clips. You know, back in the day, the M1 Grand didn't have removable magazines. It was fed through stripper clips, hence the term grand thumb. You know, if you were putting in a clip and then it closed on your thumb, that would freaking hurt, okay? Fortunately, this does not need stripper clips because you can just use a removable magazine, but man, that would hurt. Now, just like all M14s or M1As, the magazines take a little bit of, I would say, practice getting in there, all right? And that's one part where I have always struggled. I'm not a big fan of the magwell, the magazine design. It's never worked well for me, all right? It's always been really awkward getting out and getting them in, because for whatever reason, you kind of slide it in straight and then you have to rock it around. And same thing, you kind of pull out straight, but you also rock around. And man, it just doesn't work well for me, personally. And I know a lot of other people who have more time on this silhouette. They say it's not a problem. They can go fast. It works well for them every time. But for me, that's probably the major downfall of the M1A. Besides that, it's awesome. So clean. So let's talk about the safety first of all, and then the trigger. So the safety is right here in the trigger guard, and when it's pressed back, you're gonna have a little bit of an uncomfortable time putting your hand in there anyway, so it's very easy to detect if the safety's on or off, all right? And to remove the safety, to put it onto fire, you just press forward. Now, however you wanna do that, there's a lot of different ways. It is very firm, so you have to be very confident clicking it on and off. So now that I have it on fire and I have a snap cap in the chamber, one more ready to go, let's just test out this trigger and let's see what we're working with. So there is hardly any take up that I'm feeling, okay? It is just almost an immediate wall, and then it breaks. And that is amazing. Amazing. Let's see this reset. Oh my gosh, that's a great reset. And then we break. That is amazing. I love the trigger on this gun. And that is one of the features that is going to allow it to be accurized and just perform better, okay? It is an adjustable trigger, and right out of the box, I'm guessing that this is about 4.5 pounds, but it feels great. Very little take up, you just reach that wall quickly, and then it's crisp. And that reset was fantastic. So, great job on this gun. Great job. And man, it is just so good looking. It is a mean looking gun, I love it. Okay guys, you've heard me go over this gun and I could geek out over it for a very, very long time. But just before I end this video, I want to talk about why I got this gun and what my goal is for it, okay? So today, obviously, I'm just going to be running it plain Jane, the way it came. But my long-term goal for this gun is to turn it into a DMR, or designated marksman's rifle. And if it's accurate enough, then I'll even turn it into a sniper rifle, if I can, all right? And so first of all, what is a DMR anyway? Well, there's a lot of different definitions, but in my humble opinion, okay, I would classify a DMR as a rifle that is intended for engagement at, I would say, about 300 to 600 yards. All right, so it's not close quarters, it's not even just your standard combat ranges, it extends that. So the way that I kind of look at it is you can have your designation of like a close quarters rifle which would be like your 10-4, your 11-5 AR-15s. And then you'd have your standard battle rifle or your primary rifle, which again would be like your 16-inch AR-15s, you know, that we'd see frequently. And those are going to be good and have lethality out to about 500-ish yards. That's really what I would cap as their effective range. But beyond that, you'd want something like an SPR, which again is going to extend that. So an SPR I'd put in the intermediate range of about 200 out to 500. And then there's a DMR, which these are very much overlapping and synonymous terms in some ways. But in my opinion, like I said, a DMR is going to cover that 300 to 700, but it's intended to be used only for marksmanship and not really do any of the other jobs, like going into battle, all right? Then last of all is a sniper rifle. And a sniper rifle is normally a bolt-action gun, although there are many semi-automatic sniper rifles that you can think of. Of course, like the Barrett being the greatest examples. But a sniper rifle, I would say, is going to be shooting only beyond what the other rifles can do. And it never ever comes closer, all right? So again, like I said, the goal is to turn this into a designated marksman's rifle. And there's going to be a lot of upgrades going on to this gun. So I actually have everything that I'm going to put onto it. And this is all going to be a future video. So I have a freaking awesome Vortex Venom scope. And this is a first focal plane, 5 to 25 by 56. Just a fantastic scope and a good budget option, honestly. I've got some different furniture options, so I'll definitely test out which bipod I prefer, but I believe I'm gonna go with the PIC bipod. I've got my mounting rings. I do have a level that's gonna go on my scope just to accurize it. And in this box, I have a rail, all right? And so similar to kind of like the AK-47, if you want to attach a rail onto this gun, well, because of the action, you can't do it very easily. And so what you need to do is you need to essentially put a saddle on it from this side that's going to hang over the top, and that will allow you to mount your optics. So I'm going to go through the whole process of turning this into my very own DMR, and that's going to be a little bit of a longer process. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to make sure that everything turns out nicely, but man, I'm super excited for this gun, and I am going to be doing lots of videos on it. I'm also going to be doing lots of accuracy tests on it. So if you guys have any questions, if you wonder if this is a good gun, and if you have any thoughts at all about the M14 or the M1A, drop it down in the comment section, all right? Man, what a fantastic gun. I love this gun, all right? So that's it for this review. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you have any questions, as I said, drop them down in the comment section, and I will see y'all next time.